Wrestlers have either gone through really hot stretches or really cold stretches. And in this video, I have compiled a list of 10 WWE wrestlers who I believe have been a product of misbooked lately. Whether it be they deserve to be going after the title, which is more or less what this is about, but in other instances where maybe they're the ones not getting pushed the way they should be. And they've been being diminished more and more because God only knows why, There's people like maybe, for instance, a Finn Balor who should have won a feud between him and Damian Priest, but they gave the feud to Priest because they were pushing Priest at the time. But truthfully, they over-pushed Priest if you think about it. So in this video, I'm going to go through my top 10 people who I believe deserve a push for a WWE title this 2025. We start the list at my number 10 position. I have Randy Orton. I believe Randy Orton is in not dire need for a title, which is why I have him last on my list, because he obviously does not need the title to stay relevant. But honestly, he's put in the work. He's had the career longevity that you would like. He just deserves it, As John Cena said in his press conference at the Royal Rumble, he said he wants to win number 17 so he can shake the hand of the person who wins number 18. And personally, I think Randy Orton is the person who should win number 18. And what better way to kickstart that run as for him to beat John Cena once John Cena wins the world title, which, in my opinion, I think John Cena should win it at WrestleMania, but that's for another day. I really do believe Randy Orton is overdue for a good title run. It's been a few years now since he has actually held a title in general. So, what better way to kickstart his run to number 18 than having him beat the 17-time world champion John Cena? I would honestly love to see it. I think it would be a fantastic match. I think it would be a fantastic send-off match for John Cena. And yes, that obviously means it would happen towards the end of the year, which maybe they revisit the match between the two of them. Maybe they've already battled throughout the year, and maybe this is like the last, like they do like a Drew McIntyre CM Punk type of feud where it's like a blood feud and it's for the title, but John Cena gets the up on him the first two times, and then Randy Orton's finally able to beat him the third time, and he wins the world championship, and he wins number 15, starting that run for number 18. But as I said, I really do believe Randy Orton is overdue for a world title run, and what better way to kickstart it than having him beat the 17-time world champion John Cena, as I said. In my number 9 position, I have AJ Styles, a man that I constantly forget to put on these lists when making these lists, because it's like he is so forgettable sometimes that, yeah, I believe he's in need of a push. But just like Randy Orton, he is not in dire need of a push. He definitely deserves a push, but he is not in dire need of it. So it's AJ Styles, let's be real here. AJ Styles can put on a phenomenal match, no pun intended, and he's so good at what he does. He's phenomenal, pun intended this time. But I don't really know what other way to put it. AJ Styles has put in the work throughout however long he's now been with WWE, since 2016, so 9 years now, and he deserves it, I don't think early on in his career with WWE, they gave him a really good push, and then lately it feels like he's just there to put talent over, and obviously he's at the end of his career, but he did say recently that he's going to retire once he turns 50, and he's only 47 right now, so he's in prime condition to go for a title run, whether it be a US title, IC title, or even a world title. It doesn't matter. It's AJ Styles. He deserves to be in a title picture, and he's not right now. And yes, he's there to put over Logan Paul even more, probably give a really good match at WrestleMania between the two of them, which I'm there for. I don't mind that match at all. Again, everyone hates Logan Paul for some reason. I don't understand why. Guys, put aside your natural hate for the guy and appreciate the wrestler. Don't separate the two. Goddamn, how hard can it be? Obviously really hard for a lot of you, but yes, AJ Styles is there to put over Logan Paul, and honestly, I don't see a world where Logan Paul actually wins at WrestleMania. I think AJ Styles is actually going to beat him, I'm not going to lie. So what better way to kickstart a run for him is after he beats Logan Paul, who's standing in his way of like a title run, he goes for the title the next time. So whether it be whoever wins at WrestleMania between Cena and Cody Rhodes, or even Gunther and Jey Uso, what better way to put one of them over as to have AJ Styles go after him? Kind of like what they did with Cody Rhodes this past year at Clash at the Castle and back at Backlash. Same thing, but maybe this time you actually have AJ Styles win for once. I definitely think he deserves to win. Jey Uso, I don't think deserves to be put over by AJ Styles, in my opinion, because then that really makes AJ Styles not look very good, and I don't want that for AJ Styles. So yeah, let's leave Jey Uso's world title out of this and have him maybe go for someone like a John Cena, who I can actually get behind beating AJ Styles and retaining, unlike Jey Uso. Now, at my number 8 position, I have Sami Zayn. Now, Sami Zayn, just like AJ Styles and Randy Orton, you'll kind of catch a pattern here at the back end of this list where he is not in dire need of a run, but the problem is he has this problem where if he's not really doing something with a top name person yet, or right at that moment, he kind of gets lost. So, in that sense, obviously right now he's out with injury from Kevin Owens, but yeah, if he's not involved with like a top name person, I definitely think he has the problem of getting lost a little bit. And so over the summer, for instance, even though he had the IC title, he was feuding with Braun Breaker. That one was definitely diminished because Braun Breaker was not an established name just yet. So Sami definitely kind of faded away a little bit. And in that sense, I definitely think he is long overdue for a possible title reign, honestly. Honestly, yes, he deserves to be in the mid-card. I don't think he is a world title type of person. But honestly, if you build it the right way, people could get behind Sami Zayn winning his first world title. I could get behind it, honestly. But it has to be built the right way. And I think the right person to possibly win the title from is Jey Uso. Possibly starting a rivalry between the two. Who knows? You know, they have the history, so it would make sense. And I quite frankly would love to see that match because, again, they have the history. And if Sami Zayn possibly does a little heelish acts, maybe, obviously it's hard to turn somebody who's been face for a few years now back to heel, but it's not impossible. So I would love to see it. I know it's been done before, so they could easily do it again. But yes, Sami Zayn needs something a little bit new for him, something fresh. And what better way to do that than give him a push for the world title against Jey Uso once Jey Uso inevitably beats Gunther for it at WrestleMania 41. In my number 7 position, I have Bayley, the only woman on this list. Yes, Bayley is on this list because she kind of falls into the category of purgatory. She is stuck in purgatory right now. And unfortunately, she has nothing going on for her at the moment. I mean, she was supposed to feud with Roxanne Perez, but it seems as if Roxanne went back down to NXT, and Bayley is nowhere near her anymore. So, what do we do with Bayley? Because, yes, Lyra now seemingly is going to maybe enter a feud with Bayley. I mean, we saw a backstage segment where Lyra gave Bayley an opportunity. So, maybe... which that basically kind of says that Lyra's going to beat Raquel, or Bayley's going to come out and help Lyra win against Raquel and Liv. I think that was already a given. I don't really see Raquel winning the IC title. I never did. So, with that being said, maybe they start a match for WrestleMania, and that's what the direction Bayley goes in. Which, if that is true, then yes, that is good for her, and obviously we're going to be starting that. But if that's not the case, then yes, Bayley is in dire need of a push. We are getting to the point where people are actually starting to get in dire need of a push. So she's not 100% there yet, but the last few weeks, she really hasn't done anything. Since the Elimination Chamber, she has not done anything. And you may say, well, that was only a couple weeks ago. Yeah, a couple weeks ago, and we've barely seen her since. So, with that being said, I really would love to see her actually start doing something again, because she is one of WWE's best workers, best just in general, and she's barely being seen on television. Where is she? We can't just keep doing backstage segments with people, because that's not going to help them with future success. They got to be out there in the ring. And yes, she had a IC qualifying match against Raquel, and she lost, which that does a lot for Raquel. I don't think it hurts Bayley at all, but again, it's like I don't really think Raquel needed that, and it doesn't, do anything for Bayley for like the next few weeks, which is what Bayley is struggling with right now. She doesn't really have anything to do since she lost that match. And yes, you can say that was last week. Well, that's kind of the point, is that I don't know, it feels like she hasn't been doing anything lately. So she needs something new, and I think doing this would be good for her, because either you have her be the next opponent for the world title, but the problem is I think Bianca, Io, and Rhea are going to be in that feud for a couple of months, possibly up till SummerSlam, which I don't know if people want to see that or not, but I think that's the direction they're going with them. So maybe Bayley enters that. I don't know. I don't think so. I think she's going to be involved in the mid-card for a while, so what better way to put over some mid-card talent than have Bayley beat them or possibly lose to them? Either way, they'd be getting put over because Bayley would be putting them over. Bayley is one of the 4 horsewomen, so she deserves the respect of one of the 4 horsewomen, in my opinion, and that is by giving her a possible title push this 2025. In my number 6 position, I have Jacob Fatu. And now, here's the other problem, is Jacob Fatu is not in dire need of a push, but he has so much momentum right now that I think they need to give him one. I mean, whether it's a world title or mid-card title, it does not matter. I think Jacob Fatu could easily put on a classic match. One of the best workers who've just come into the company and taken it by storm. And anytime he's out there, he just steals the show, in my opinion. He's got the crowd chanting Fatu. And yeah, I mean, he's captivated me. I love every segment he's out there. So whether he's the next challenger for LA Knight's US title, and by the way, thank God Shinsuke lost, but he honestly could put on a great match with LA Knight. Now, here's the thing, is I don't want LA Knight beating him, so whether or not that means LA Knight needs to get a few more defenses in before Jacob Fatu, that's fine. But Jacob Fatu needs to, I don't know, enter this, like, title run, he needs a title, in my opinion, because he has got so much momentum going for him right now that not giving him a title, I feel like, would just be so not good. I mean, he's obviously feuding with Braun Strowman right now, which is doing a lot for him. Having Strowman put him over is huge for Fatu, and Strowman, I gotta say, is doing a phenomenal job at doing that. But I mean, seriously, Fatu, he deserves it. And truthfully, Strowman's another person who possibly deserves a run. He's been putting in the work, but I didn't include him on this list. Jacob Fatu, though, I think deserves a run here, because he has been doing such a good job ever since he's entered the WWE, and ever since Solo lost to Ulafala, it seemingly seems like they're starting to push him a little bit, which is really good for him. But he has been like almost nowhere near the mid-card title, which he needs to be all over that right now, in my opinion. In my number 5 position, we have Jimmy Uso. Now we are getting to the part of the list where people are actually in kind of dire need of a push. Jimmy Uso has been a consistent, good in-ring wrestler and really good on the mic outside of this last Friday where he said the US tag team titles. Jimmy, what are we doing? But yes, Jimmy Uso has been putting in the work since he's kind of been away from the bloodline and they're kind of going in a new direction with him. Unfortunately, we haven't really rewarded him for his work yet, and that's, in my opinion, what they need to do soon. Jimmy Uso is kind of getting to that point of, like Bayley, lost in purgatory, even though you see him a lot. Unlike Bayley, he's seen, and that's the problem, is he's being seen and he's still in purgatory, it feels like. Yes, Jimmy Uso obviously has the credibility behind him, but not in a singles capacity, only in a tag team capacity. So that's where I believe Jimmy Uso deserves to finally be in the US title picture. And whether or not he actually wins the US title, that's a story for another day. But I think he would be a valid person to win it. I don't see a problem with him winning it. In my opinion, he's the better Uso. He's a better wrestler. He's better on the mic than Jay is. And so for that reason alone, I don't understand why they are not giving Jimmy a push. Yes, Jay obviously has the crowd behind him far more than Jimmy does, but it's because of Jay's song and Jay's catchphrase, you know? That's kind of what it comes down to, is Jimmy's put in the work on the mic and in the ring, but Jay just was able to get over easier, I guess. And unfortunately, that's kind of what it comes down to, but as I said, Jimmy has put in the work. He absolutely deserves to be in the US title picture right now. In my number 4 position, I have Carmelo Hayes. And just like Jimmy Uso, Carmelo Hayes has put in the absolute work this whole past year. Ever since he got brought up to the main roster, it feels like he wrestles every single week, and he puts on a absolutely phenomenal match every single week. I mean, Carmelo Hayes, he's a workhorse, you know, just like what Dom was in 2023. Carmelo Hayes is an absolute workhorse, and he deserves to finally have a push, you know. He's falling into the category of kind of like Dom, where he puts talent over, you know, but at his own expense. He has done such a great job, though, in every single match he's in, and whenever he has the mic, he's able to just do a really good promo. He takes the most of every opportunity that is given to him, and I think he is a phenomenal heel, you know. I think he has the charisma to possibly be a really good face as well one day, but right now, keep him as a heel and let him start his push, you know. Give him a solid push for the US title. He kind of was involved with it with LA Knight and Andrade back around November, October, but it never really went anywhere for Carmelo Hayes. They didn't reward him for the work that he had been doing at the time. And I personally thought he was a very good option to win the US title at Crown Jewel. And he ended up not winning. LA Knight just retained, which obviously was the safe option at that time. But now, I really do believe that Carmelo Hayes has just put in the work, you know. And that's why I rank him higher than Jimmy Uso, is because we see Carmelo literally every single week. For the past year, we have seen him on literally every Smackdown. There has not been a Smackdown that he has missed. And if there has been, it's been so few that I can't even remember, you know. He has been basically wrestling every single week as well. And if he's missed a week, again, it's because either they're giving him rest for all the other matches that he's done, or I don't even know what, but he has just done such a phenomenal job with every opportunity that is given to him that I definitely believe that a push is in order for him, and I think it should happen this year. In my number 3 position, I have Finn Balor. Now, you may call this bias. I don't care. Finn Balor, oh my god, what in the world are they doing with him? I mentioned him early on in the video where he was in a feud with Damian Priest, and they didn't give him a single win. He only looked good in the segments that ultimately didn't really matter. And that's where I have the problem, is Finn Balor is easily top 5 worker in the ring for me, and they don't reward him for anything. And in my opinion, he is an underrated mic talker. And maybe recently he hasn't been a great talker, but in my opinion, I don't think he's as good of a heel as he is a face. Turn him back face. I don't care what you do, you know. Dom has the heel heat. Let Finn be the face again. Either way, yes, and I just alluded to it. Let them enter a feud together. I mean, this feud has been a burner waiting to just take off. And they are taking their sweet ass time with it, and it's just annoying me because we constantly have Finn take a pin. He now has the nickname Pin Balor, and I hate it. You know, pin, whatever. Finn does not deserve it. And I don't understand why all of a sudden, within the last 3 years, I want to say, ever since he joined Judgment Day, he has gotten the short end of the stick out of every single person. You know, sure, he's had world title matches against Seth back in the summer of 2023, but that's like it. That's all he's had, and he lost both of those matches. And no thanks to Judgment Day interference, Damian Priest. Yeah, Priest cost him both of those matches, and to have Finn lose both of his matches against Priest in this feud, I absolutely despised. Finn looked so good in both of those matches that they ended up giving the win to Priest. God only knows why. In my opinion, Finn made Priest look really, really good in both of those matches, but that's my point, is Finn makes literally anyone he's in the ring with look good. This past Monday Night Raw, He made Braun Breaker look really good, and that's what Finn Balor does. Finn Balor puts over opponents. He's just that damn good, and people don't recognize it, you know? I'm sure the whole WWE universe out there wants a push for Finn Balor, and I hope to God I am not alone, where he deserves it. I mean, he has put in the work. He's been an absolute workhorse, and he just deserves it. I don't understand why. Like, this past 2024, he had like the third most losses of the entire roster. Someone this damn good is racking up the third most losses. That's unbelievable, and that should not be happening. In my number 2 position, I have Dominic Mysterio, and yes, he is in the same boat as Finn, and that's why I rank them so close together in almost every single video I do with them, is he is in dire need of a push as well. In my opinion, though, he deserves it just a little bit more than Finn does, because Dom makes every segment he is in gold. He is so damn good at captivating the audience. He gets it. He gets what WWE wrestling or WWE storylines are about. He understands the craft, and he has picked it up so damn quickly in his career that I don't understand why they just don't give him a push. I mean, it seems like they might be finally starting to do something with him in the IC title. I have no idea. But, dude, there are just so many things that there's like, it's almost like they're getting distracted with what they should be doing with Dom right now. And that's being in a feud with Finn. That feud needs to already have happened. I don't understand why that feud has not started yet. It's like they are doing the slowest possible build for it. And it might finally take off by next week, but who knows? I mean, honest to God, I really just don't know. And maybe it simply comes down to Dom gets Finn a rematch. I have no idea, but if that's the case, Finn better win that rematch. Either way, though, if they are not building towards a feud between the two of them, have Dom enter this match between Penta and Braun Breaker and have it be a triple threat at WrestleMania. Or have Finn enter the match too, and so it's a fatal 4-way. And yes, have 2 Judgment Day members in the match together. And that way, maybe something can happen between the two of them that'll kickstart their feud throughout the summer. Why can't we just do something like that? Dom, as I said, has just put in the work. He has been the absolute workhorse of WWE for like the past few years now. And obviously, he had so much raw talent coming in, and so they needed to kind of breed him the way they want him to. And yes, that's a weird word to say for it, but it kind of is what it is, you know. They wanted him to hone his craft, you know, all that, which is fair. I understand that. But he is getting to the point where it's like we are just not pulling the trigger on someone who should have gotten the trigger, you know. They should have pulled the trigger on him, and it's getting to the point of ridiculousness. He absolutely deserves to be in the IC title picture, and it's almost as if he's a background character to it, and I don't understand why. At my number 1 position, I have Drew McIntyre. Now, this one might be a little odd because, honestly, he isn't in dire need of a push, but in my opinion, he absolutely deserves it out of anybody else. The year that he had in 2024, he was easily the male superstar of the year, in my opinion, and you could easily give him superstar of the year. I absolutely love the work Drew McIntyre did. Drew put on an absolutely phenomenal feud with CM Punk, and maybe Punk carried him through it, maybe not. I think they both carried their own weight. I don't think either one of them had any lapses where it's concerned. I think that was easily the best feud of 2024, and everyone else, I think, can agree with that. But yes, Drew McIntyre all of a sudden is starting to enter a feud with Damian Priest, and that is so below Drew McIntyre, it's not even funny. With all the work Drew did in 2024, this is what you reward him with at WrestleMania 41. I mean, at least in WrestleMania 40, he had a title match, but then they screwed him and had him lose in like 5 minutes at WrestleMania. You know, he got cashed in on by Damian Priest, and then throughout the year, he just did a phenomenal job bouncing back from that and just was so damn good all the way up until maybe the Royal Rumble, where now that's when they started the Damian Priest stuff, where Priest now is seemingly going to have a match with Drew come WrestleMania. And as I said, that is so below him. Don't get me wrong, I think Damian Priest deserves a solid match at WrestleMania, but the match it should have been was Finn Balor, you know, and obviously that's gone, and I don't even want to talk about that match anymore. But yeah, Drew, it's so below him. Drew deserves to be in a world title match, and unfortunately they just did not give it to him, and I don't understand why. Drew deserves it. He should have won the Elimination Chamber, in my opinion, or the Royal Rumble, one or the other. It should not have been Jey Uso, you know. I think actually he should have won the Royal Rumble, and they gave it to fucking Jey Uso. I cannot get behind that yeet movement. I'm sorry, I just can't. But yeah, Drew McIntyre has put in the absolute work of 2024. Easily the male superstar of the year, and in my opinion, easily the superstar of the year of 2024. I mean, it's between him and Liv Morgan, in my opinion. And I give the slight edge to Drew McIntyre because McIntyre's feud with Punk was way better than Liv's feud with Rhea. So that's where I give the points to. And yeah, and maybe the Liv shit with Rhea isn't Liv's fault, but doesn't matter. Ultimately, Drew and Punk was able to captivate a crowd way more than Liv and Rhea were. So that's why I give Drew McIntyre the edge of having the best year of any wrestler in 2024. It should probably go without saying, but my top 10 list is probably very subjective. So please tell me down below if, for instance, Dom and Finn are ranked too high, or maybe I don't have them ranked high enough, and obviously it's only one other spot. But in my opinion, I don't know, man. Them two just deserve it because of how they've been treated with the Judgment Day ever since SummerSlam. So, with that being said, please tell me down below if you think my list is right or not, or who you would add to it, like maybe a Braun Strowman or something like that. Please tell me down below, and just let me know how much of an idiot I was this time. Thanks for watching, and until next time, see ya.